Good morning, grade 10 students. In this session, we're going to continue with our chapter about the green plants in this week, week 27. So, in the last session, we talked about the absorption of water. The process of water absorption in green plants, it occurs through specific structures. And we identified that in this experiment, we have two plants, plant 1 and plant 2. Plant 1, where the root hair and the root cap, both of them, they are placed in water. So the plant, it lives normally, it develops normally, it has normally growth. However, in plant 2, where the root hairs, they are placed in oil, while the root cap is placed in the water, what happened? The plant, it dies. From this experiment, we deduced that the structure responsible for the water absorption is the root hair and not the root cap. Why? Because here when the root hair and the root caps, both of them, they are in water. These are the root hairs and this part is called the root cap. So both of them, they are placed in water. The plant, it lives normally, it develops normally, it has normal growth. Wherever in plant 2, where the root hairs, they are in oil and the root cap in water, the plant dies. This means that not the root cap is responsible for the water absorption, while it's the root hair. So the root hairs are responsible. The variable factor in this experiment, we said that is the part of the root, whether the root hair or the root cap, they are dipped in water, conditions to which both plants are exposed. So the plant 1, the root hair and the root cap, they are both dipped in water. However, in plant 2, the root hairs, they are dipped in oil, while the root cap, they are dipped in water. And analysis, so after dipping the root hairs and the root cap in water in plant 1, the green plant grows normally, while after dipping the root hairs in oil and the root cap in water, the green plant, it withers and dies. Conclusion, that the root hairs, they are the structure responsible for absorption of water in green plants. Now we're going to move to an important process that occurs at the level of the plants, which is the process of transpiration. All of you, you know that the plant absorbs water through what? Through the roots, and to be more specific, through the root hairs. So water absorbed by the root, it has an upward movement. It moves up from the roots to the stem, and that is going to be distributed to the leaves in the plant. So here, water absorbed by the root, then the water travels up. It has an upward direction, or it has an upward movement. So here, upward movement of the water from the roots up to the stem and then to the leaves. Later on, we are going to talk about let's say, important structures, and they are responsible for the transportation of something called the crude sap and something called the elaborated sap. We're going to talk about these crude sap and elaborated sap in the coming sessions. So here, the water will reach to the leaves. Reaching the leaves, we have an important process that occurs at the level of the leaves. This process is called transpiration. What is transpiration? Transpiration is the loss of water in the plants through the special process called the transpiration, and this process occurs at the level of the leaves. Through what? Here we have the leaf. On the underside of the leaf, meaning that this is the leaf, the underside of the leaf, we have special structures. These are called stomata. They are very tiny or very small openings, and they are responsible for the transpiration process. What does this mean? For example, let's have an example, a simple one. If I have a cup of water, this cup of water, I place it on, for example, on the windowsill for about 1 day and under the sunlight. So we have sunlight. What will happen? The water will evaporate, and part of the water will be lost due to the vaporization. It evaporates. Here, the same process. We have vaporization, it's called transpiration in the plants, where the plant it loses water through small openings. These are called the stomata. Stomata, they are the small openings on the underside of the leaves. So let's move now to the definition of transpiration. What is transpiration? Transpiration is known as the loss of water vapor through some plant organs. So what are these organs? Let's see. In this experiment, we have two plants, plant A and plant B. In plant A and plant B, both of them they are covered by a plastic bag. So if I ask you, Ya Ahmad Shimi, what is the variable factor between the two plants, A and B?
Masters, can you repeat the question,
What
please?
is the variable factor between the plants A and B?
The leaves.
Leaves. So plant A it has, while plant B it doesn't. So this is the variable factor. So in plant A we have leaves, while in plant B we don't. So both plants, thank you Ahmad. So both plants they are covered by a clear plastic bag. Plastic bag that's as shown in these figures. So we covered both plants by a plastic bag. After few hours, water droplets they are formed on the inner wall of the plastic bag covering the plant A. So we have water droplets on the plastic bag covering plant A, where on the inside, sure, that's facing the plant. However, in plant B, no water droplets. We don't have water droplets on the inner wall of the plastic bag covering plant B. Here we have water droplets where we have leaves, and here we don't have water droplets in the plant that lacks the leaves. So indicate the major difference between plants A and B. This is the question that is similar to what is the variable factor between the plants A and B. So the variable factor is that the plant A has leaves while the plant B doesn't have leaves. Part 2, or the second question, in which plastic bag is water vapor formed? It's formed in the plastic bag covering plant A. Deduce the part of the plant that is responsible for transpiration. What do you think, yeah, Adam? What is the part of the plant that is responsible for such a process, the release of water vapor? Yes, Adam. Adam, can you hear me? Okay, we can move to other than Adam, then we can move back to Adam. Let's move to Celia. Good morning, Celia.
Yes, it does.
So what is the part, Celia, that is responsible for transpiration? In plant A, we have leaves, so we have water droplets. In plant B, we don't have leaves, no water droplets. So what is the part responsible for transpiration?
The leaves.
Very good. So the leaves, they are the part responsible for transpiration. Thank you, Sia. So completing the following statement, during the process of transpiration, the green plants, what do they release? They release water vapor through which part? Through their leaves. So as a conclusion, you have to know that green plants, they undergo the process of transpiration. They lose water vapor through special organs, which are the leaves. So without leaves, there is no process of transpiration, and this was explained and proved in this experiment where we have two plants, one with leaves and one without the leaves. So this is the idea, transpiration. What is transpiration? Is the water loss in the plants through special organs. What are these organs? They are the leaves. So definition of transpiration is the loss of water vapor through the leaves of the plant. This process is called transpiration. Let's now move to these important notes. Whenever we talk about autotrophs, Whenever you hear the word autotrophs, this means that green plants. This means that chlorophyll. What do we mean by chlorophyll? Yeah, let's move to new voices. I want to hear Ahmad Audi. What the meaning of chlorophyll plants? What do we mean by this?
The green plants.
They contain the
Chlorophyll is green color.
they contain the green color. Yes, but what do we mean by chlorophyll plant? They have the pigment. What do we call it? What do we call the pigment? It's called the
Chlorophyll.
chlorophyll. So here, whenever we said about chlorophyll plants, we are talking about the green plants, meaning that they contain the green pigment, which is the chlorophyll. Also, autotrophs, green plants, chlorophyll, all of them, they have the same meaning. However, if we move to the heterotroph, they are the non-green plants, they are the non-chlorophyll, meaning that they lack the chlorophyll. So all the plants that are green, they are chlorophyll. They contain the green pigment, which is the chlorophyll. However, the non-green plants, they are the non-chlorophyll and they lack the green pigment, which is the chlorophyll. Now we're going to move to most important idea in this lesson, talking about the process of photosynthesis. What do we mean by the word photo? We have photosynthesis, but what do we mean by the word photo? Can anyone give me the word photo? We have it before. What is the meaning of the word only photosynthesis? We are going to divide it into two parts, photo and synthesis. What the meaning of photo? Yes, Fatima.
Photo means light, and
Oh,
synthesis means putting back together.
okay, so meaning photo, very good, meaning that it's the light. So photosynthesis, we're going to talk about the light. Light that occurs only during the day. So photosynthesis, it occurs only during the day. And we have another process which is called the respiration. Respiration in the plant, it occurs both during day and night. So it occurs both during day and night. That's why they told you that whenever you sleep in your room and you are closing all the windows and the doors and no air is entering your room, you don't have to put a plant with you. Why? Because during respiration, the plant would release carbon dioxide during night and it will absorb the oxygen. This will lead to suffocation and the person may die due to the lack of oxygen during night. While we want to talk about photosynthesis. What is the photosynthesis? Photosynthesis is the process where the plants they can make their own food. They can make their own food through the process of photosynthesis. During photosynthesis, sure we have sunlight. And during photosynthesis, one of the products is going to be the oxygen gas. So O2 is one of the products. While one of the reactants is the CO2, the carbon dioxide that is absorbed from the atmosphere. So here, what do we have? Let's start step by step. What are the reactants of the photosynthesis process and what are the final products? What are the conditions and how can we detect that the plant is performing the photosynthesis? What is the photosynthesis? Pay attention to the definition. Photosynthesis. It's the process where the chlorophyll plants, the green plants, they can produce their own food, their own organic matter. They produce their own food. This food is organic and they produce it from inorganic matter. For example, about this, the mineral salts. So chlorophyll plants, they perform the photosynthesis, they produce their own food, and this food is organic matter from and using inorganic the mineral salts. Pay attention to this experiment. It's a very important experiment. We have two plants, plant A and plant B. Plant A was placed in light and plant B was placed in darkness. Then what do? We took leaf from each of the two plants, one from in light, one in darkness, and we boil the water for a few minutes, including the leaves. This boiling water is going to kill the leaf. This is the importance of the boiling water. We'll kill the leaf and we'll kill all the organisms in the leaf. Then, step number 3, we dip each leaf in a tube of warm alcohol to remove its green color. So here it's the importance of the dipping in alcohol to remove the green color of the leaf while we keep them in boiling water. So we put them in boiling water and we put them in tubes of warm alcohol. Why? To get rid of the green color, to remove the green color. So here we have 2 hints. First one, boiling water, it kills the leaf. And the second one, the green color is removed by the usage of the boiling alcohol or warm alcohol. Then we soften the leaves by dipping them in water in order to be straight, in order to be not, for example, scattered or scratched. We put them inside the water in order to soften the leaves. And then what do? We add few drops of iodine to each leaf and observe the color for each leaf. Iodine solution or the iodine test is done for what? To identify the presence of starch. And this is the organic food that is produced. This experiment is done to study the importance of or to study the process of photosynthesis. So we have iodine solution here is added. Imagine that this is the leaf from plant A. And this is the leaf from plant B. Okay, so here from plant A and here from plant B. Which one do you think will give a dark blue color? Which one, or blue black? It's the same, blue black or dark blue. They have the same concept. So which one do you think will be the one having dark blue color? Leaf from plant A that was placed in light, or leaf from plant B that was placed in darkness? What do you think, Muhammad Boo? Muhammad Boo, good morning.
Good morning, Ustaz.
What do you think, Muhammad? Which one will produce the dark blue color? Plant A that was placed in light, or plant B that was placed in darkness?
Plant A is
Plant A.
facing light.
Why?
Since it has light.
Since it has light, and if we have light, what do we have? Which process?
Light.
So we have the process of
Photosynthesis.
photosynthesis. This is the concept here, the photosynthesis. Okay? So we have the process of photosynthesis. So the plant A will give the dark blue color due to the presence of light, while plant B that was placed in darkness, there is no dark blue color, there is no starch produced. Okay? Now, let's continue with the concept for the photosynthesis. So the plant, it's make its own food by the process of photosynthesis. This food is first in the form of glucose, and then it's stored in the form of starch. So photo, as Fatima said, means light, and synthesis meaning that putting them together. So we put what? We put light? No. We use the light to put what? To put carbon dioxide and water together. And this process takes place in the leaves of the plant. So it takes place in the leaves of the plant. Chlorophyll in the leaves, they trap the energy from the light. This is the importance of the chlorophyll. It traps the energy of the sunlight. This energy will help to combine what? To add carbon dioxide and water together to make the sugar as a food for the plant. This sugar will be stored in the form of the starch. Also, you have to know that in some plants, in some green plants, like the green algae that we find it in the sea, for example, we have a special structure that is called the chloroplast. So the chloroplast They have an important role in trapping the energy from the sunlight, and they help it to make the photosynthesis process. So they trap the energy and they get the energy from the sunlight to chloroplast to make the photosynthesis process. And these were found in some of the green algae and some of the green plants. They are called the chloroplast. They are organelles responsible for trapping the energy from the sunlight. Here, photosynthesis process. Light is trapped by the chlorophyll, the pigment that makes the green plant. This process, you have to study these steps in order. And then the energy from the sun starts the making process of the food. Then the leaves takes in carbon dioxide, they absorb carbon dioxide from the earth, and the roots will take in water. So carbon dioxide and water, they mix together in the presence of sunlight, and the youth will use the energy from the light to put carbon dioxide and water to make the food. So photo, light, synthesis, putting together water and carbon dioxide to make the food, which is a kind of sugar. This food is going to be stored in the form of starch. So oxygen here is considered as a waste product. That's why plants they release oxygen, so they are important for the oxygen level in the world. So oxygen is considered as a waste product, as a product in the photosynthesis process given off by the leaf out to the atmosphere. Photosynthesis, it occurs only in light, meaning that only during day. And the sugar produced is turned in many plants to be stored in the form of starch to be used later. So in this experiment, we have a leaf. This leaf is green in color. Here, in this leaf, we cover part of this leaf by a black paper. Covering it by a black paper will prevent the light from reaching to this part. So this part contains no light. So we leave it for about 2 hours in light, and then we tested the starch. The part of the plant that is not covered, it gives a dark blue color or blue-black color. So this indicates the presence of starch. However, in the part that was covered by the black paper, there is no dark blue. So the color remains yellow or orange in color, indicating the absence of starch. So this indicates the importance of light for the process of photosynthesis. Here we don't have starch since we don't have light. So the word equation, we have to study it. You have to know that the word equation, it's carbon dioxide plus water and the presence of the light energy in the presence of sunlight. It gives sugar plus oxygen. This sugar in the form of glucose, which is glucose C6, H12O6. And in most plants, they are going to be stored in the form of starch. This will give the dark blue color for the leaves. So this is the importance of the photosynthesis process. This is the photosynthesis that occurs in the presence of light, where carbon dioxide, the CO2, will combine with water, H2O, to produce the oxygen, which is the O2, and to produce the sugar, which is stored finally as a form of starch, which is the glucose C6H12O6. So here in this session, we determined what is the photosynthesis process, the equation, the steps of the process, the importance of light for the process of photosynthesis, the role of the chlorophyll in the sunlight and trapping the sunlight and the energy from the sunlight, as well as we determined the steps of this process, and we have to know that this experiment is done to study the photosynthesis process, and also we determined the process of transpiration in green plants, as well as the role of the leaves in this process. And also we covered before what is the process of the absorption of water at the level of the plant, at the level of the roots of the plant, and to be more specific, at the level of the root hairs. So this is everything for our session for today.